Pizza Neo is a Las Vegas Eastside Barrio pizza pop-up shop, which was founded by U.S. Navy and Army veteran Anthony Rivera in 2024. As friendly and energetic pizza enthusiasts, they combine old-school Neapolitan techniques with modern high-quality ingredients to create hella good pizza. They're open 5 days a week, Wednesday through Sunday, for dine-in, pickup, and they offer delivery and catering for visiting families, large groups, sports teams, and parties. There is no longer a need to go through the hassle of getting your family or large groups to commute to a busy restaurant at a specific time just to be told you're on the waiting list, where you can get the best pizza on the east side of Las Vegas, prepped, baked, and served directly to you in the comfort of your home, Airbnb, or hotel. Please make sure you're following Neo Pizza's Instagram page at Pizza Neo Pizza to stay updated on their current menu selections, special events, and everything in between. Welcome back, everybody, to the Word Around the Ring podcast. It's an absolute pleasure to be back. If you forgot, let me remind you my name is Big Rob, and I'll let my tag team partner reintroduce himself.
And I'm King Jess, and we're the only podcast more excited than Dirty Dom about Liv Morgan's return. We've been gone a week, and there's a lot to discuss, from Saturday night's main event to all the fallout that came from it. So, Rob, what's been the word around the ring?
It has been a little bit of a while, and like you mentioned, we did just finish up Saturday night's main event. Typically, as we felt in the past, and as you have so eloquently stated before, you felt like the Saturday night main events have really just been nothing but a glorified house show. But to our surprise, and I think to many people's surprises, this one felt a little bit different, especially at the end of the night with everything that happened all throughout. In between matches, we got a couple of returns that we weren't expecting, maybe or maybe not expecting just yet. So a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. But overall, it was an interesting special event to say the least. If I must say so myself, the last couple of weeks and maybe even a few months, maybe ever since WrestleMania, I don't know, or I don't know if even before WrestleMania, it just feels like, yeah, it just feels a little off. It just feels a little off to me. Just a lot of things going on in the WWE, a lot of these storylines, in my opinion, just taking a little twist and turns that are unnecessary. That just feel like I don't know. It doesn't feel as cohesive as it once did, and I feel like it's a very interesting time, especially being that they were so hot for the last couple of 2 years. Of course, nothing always is going to stay as hot as it did, especially in the WrestleMania 39, the 40s, where we get in the Cody and Roman matches, and so it's been an interesting time. I don't know if you feel that way. If you have any comments about that, how have you felt the WWE has, has been portrayed over the course of the last few months? Have you been as excited as you once were? Just in general, I wanted to get your thoughts and any feelers you may have about how you're feeling as a current WWE fan and as a viewer of the product.
As a viewer of the product, I'm still happy with it. I wouldn't say that I'm as hyped as probably we were, 2 years ago when the story was being finished and all that. I feel like WWE really did capitalize on a hot moment for wrestling. Going from finishing the story to freeing itself to from Vince. I feel like they really did a lot within that period. That eventually, not everything stays at the top. Not everything is stays good forever. So we knew that this crash would eventually come. I think that as wrestling fans, we kind of predicted it coming a little bit sooner. I feel like fans even predicted it coming right after the story had been finished with Cody. But it's nice to see that it did take a while, and I wouldn't say that it's a complete stop like it would be before, where like, a lot of people would drop off and not watch the product. I still think they have enough there to hook the general public from week to week. So personally, like I said, I just think that the product is still good. I just don't think it's as hot as it was right off the heels of finishing the story and then going into this new era, this Netflix era. We have lost some of that steam, but we knew that shit was gonna come. We knew it was gonna come, and I'm just glad it came later than sooner. But yeah, I'm still enjoying it. Are you enjoying it for the most part? Do you think that the WWE kind of needs to kick it up, seeing as we're going into Money in the Bank, and Money in the Bank is one of those big three pay-per-views?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I'm a fan. I'm gonna keep watching, but I think the problem that I'm seeing, and it's gotten a little stagnant and it's gotten a little repetitive. There's clearly a formula that they've developed, especially for pay-per-views, this five-match formula. And what I feel like, if you pay attention to the main events over the course of just anything, like the Monday Night Raws, the SmackDowns, even the pay-per-views, I feel like I'm getting more run-ins to end matches than I'm getting pinfalls. That's just my opinion. Listen, I might be being a little exaggerative, of course. We probably do have more pinfalls than run-ins, but like for main events, it always feels like, okay, this match isn't gonna end because someone's gonna run in, something's gonna happen, etc., etc. And it's always the next week and the week after, and it's, I don't know. I just feel like it's been a little stagnant. They figured out this formula and they stay with it, and I just don't want them to fall into this rabbit hole of being boring per se. Because I don't know, sometimes I feel like I can just turn the TV off and I'll know exactly what's going to happen, or predict what's going to happen, and I guess we would say we're consider ourselves smart fans in the sense that we kind of know what's going on outside of what television, and staying up to date with things on the internet, etc. Um, but I don't know. It just feels a little stagnant to me over the course of the last couple months. I'm kind of sick and tired of these run-ins. It's fun in theory every once in a while. Like we got some great run-ins this weekend, but again, it doesn't make it as grand as it used to when you do it every fucking week and after every fucking main event. I just feel like we haven't seen a Monday Night Raw main event end without a run-in a couple of weeks. So I'm just a little bit tired of that. I'm getting some fatigue there. But I'm gonna keep watching the product. 25th, the retirement tour of John Cena. I can't miss it, even though I'm not a big as a fan as maybe some of us are. And I'm still, honestly, I'm really still not enjoying this heel run. But we're gonna talk about it. But enough's enough about how we're feeling about the product at this moment. Want to get into a big happening on Saturday night's main event, one that I'm sure you're excited to speak on here. But of course, the opening match of the show was Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, with their wise man Paul Heyman, of course, against CM Punk and Sami Zayn in a tag team opener. We knew this was going to be a fun match. I really found it. This was actually the perfect match to start because you knew it was going to get the crowd hot. CM Punk is insanely over. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous how over he is. I was a little disrespectful towards him. I think a few weeks ago. I would like to apologize. This man has this man CM Punk. He's doing everything I wish John Cena would be doing. And he's been on a hell of a run, and he continues to put on great matches as he did here with Sami Zayn. A very short match here, but the point of this match really wasn't the match itself. It was to introduce a new individual, and reintroduce someone on television who's been off of TV nursing an injury over the past couple of months since Survivor Series. And that individual, of course, is none other than Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed made a surprise return here during this match, attacking CM Punk on the outside of the ring, running him through the barricade, um, and ultimately setting up Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker to win the match, following Braun Breaker hitting Sami Zayn with his coveted spear. Um, Once the match was over, these three individuals were going to line themselves up, but it was funny enough the way they introduced this was Bronson Reed had entered the ring. Braun Breaker stepped in front of Seth Rollins, and they kind of had a little bit of a face off because I don't think Braun Breaker had gotten the memo that they were getting a new teammate. But then Seth Rollins stepped in front of Braun Breaker, tapped him on the chest, hugged Bronson Reed, and then the three hugged it out, and it was clear as day that this would be the third man in this new faction, a faction that we still have yet to name on live television. We don't have an official name for this team yet, but I'm excited to find out what it will be once they finally do drop that faction name. Um, but Bronson Reed made his return, and following the match, CM Punk, of course, he's not gonna die quietly. He tried to get back into the ring and fight back, but Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins held him down and allowed Bronson to go up to the top of the rope, and annoyingly. Annoyingly so, we only got one tsunami from Bronson Reed on his return, but one that was good enough to take CM Punk out, roll him off the ring, and for those three gentlemen to celebrate. So all in all, this was a pretty quick match, probably about 10 to 12 minutes. Nothing too crazy in a tag match here. We got the famous Braun Breaker Spear, the Breakensteiner. We got great action from Seth Rollins and CM Punk. But the point of this match here was, of course, to introduce Bronson Reed. So I want to ask you how you felt about Bronson Reed being the third man. Do you feel like they did him justice in the way that they brought him back? And any thoughts that you may have on this match overall, and especially to start Saturday night's main event?
Well, for the matches in general, I think there's going to be very little notes, just because I think you even mentioned it there earlier. They're very quick matches, and then that's something that I always tend to forget going into these Saturday night main events, is that they're really just taking up an allotted time that is reserved for SNL. So these matches, even with some of these bigger matches that have multiple people, they kind of have to pace through them pretty fast. And I had even brought it up to my girlfriend when we were watching it. CM Punk was out there and he was moving, bro. If anyone wants to doubt CM Punk, I feel like they need to see this match, because that boy was moving. I don't think I had seen Phil move that fucking fast in the longest time, probably since he returned to the WWE. So it was kind of impressive. Other than that, yeah, the match was just kind of, a solid match to start off the night. It was a perfect starting point. The I guess the order of the matches kind of shocked me, and we'll get into that later. But it just shocked me to see that this was first, but it was the right decision. And all this just kind of led into what you said, who was going to be the proverbial third man, and we finally got our answer. And I don't think any of us, I could be wrong, we'll have to go back and look, but I don't think any of us had Bronson Reed on our list for who that third man could have been. But I'm not mad at it. I thought we were gonna go with kind of like an evolution style faction, but it looks like they're just putting these two big dogs behind Seth Rollins and kind of giving him this invincibility to do whatever the fuck he wants, almost to the point that it reminded me of the power and the invincibility he had when he was running with the Authority, where, like, he was the top dog, he was getting all these opportunities and no one can really touch him outside of the ring, because you would have to fight with, with his group. And now with Breaker and Bronson behind him, who the fuck is gonna want to fuck with Seth? Just in general, who's gonna want to fuck with this faction? This faction is starting to cook up something pretty fucking big, and I'm excited to see that Bronson's going to be a part of it, because he is someone that we were very hot on before he got hurt, and sadly he did get hurt, but he didn't make his presence any less unknown. He was still on social media. He was talking to shit. I think even like a couple weeks ago, he said something about like he was gonna get off social media for a while, and I should have took that as a flag that, oh shit, maybe he's returning. But I didn't even think about, he could be the third man. So this is exciting. I want to know where the fuck we're gonna go from here with them, because like I said, right now they're looking pretty fucking unstoppable, and that's kind of exciting. We haven't had something like this in the WWE for a bit.
Yeah, no, they're looking like a dominant faction already. Bronson being back is exciting shit. Like you mentioned, we were hot on him when we headed into into War Games at Survivor Series, and unfortunately, he did suffer that injury because he jumped from the top of the steel fucking cage and broke his fucking ankle. But anyways, as you mentioned, he stayed on social media, let his presence still be felt. And I think he got into a little Twitter argument with Ric Flair, telling him that he would kill him with a couple of tsunamis. So I do recall that. But no, I'm happy that Bronson Reed is back. Like you said, I don't think we thought there was even a chance, or maybe we just forgot about him, unfortunately, when we were having the discussions, but we didn't bring him up for in our predictions for who the third man could possibly be. But when I saw him, I was excited. He looked fantastic, ran CM Punk through that barricade, hit his tsunami, and just looked menacing as he did when he was hurt and left the ring. So it's great to see him back. He was also wearing Jordan 3's black cement, so shout out to that. I love seeing that. That was great. But no, I'm happy that he's back, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do here. I would imagine that we're gonna get, maybe a Bronson Reed and a Braun Breaker tag match, or maybe a triple tag. I'm not, or a 6-man tag. But we just have CM Punk and Sami Zayn on the other side. I'm sure they'll find a way to introduce a third member over there as well. But We will see where this goes. Do they have a match on Money in the Bank? Not yet. So they haven't been announced. That faction hasn't been announced or advertised for Money in the Bank. So we will see if they play a role in that pay per view. But all in all, I'm glad Bronson Reed is back, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does on Monday Night Raw and how he has a ripple effect on the roster and who they target as an individual next. Is it going to be Gunther after Gunther beats Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship? Is it going to be Jey Uso? Um, so very interesting stuff. Later on tonight, we will discuss what happened with Seth Rollins and how his future is sort of heading into. Well, he is heading to the Money in the Bank pay per view. So we will talk about that and maybe they help him win that briefcase. But all in all, exciting stuff here. This is probably the story that I'm most invested in when watching Monday Night Raw and one that I look forward to every week. And maybe not even so for Seth Rollins himself, but for Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Just excited to see what they're going to be doing moving forward. But there's another match on this card that I know you were paying very close attention to as a big fan of Chelsea Green yourself. But the second match of the card was the WWE Women's United States Championship match, which of course included our champion, our current U.S. Women's Champion, Zelina Vega, versus the former champion, Chelsea Green. Prior to the match, Chelsea vowed to become a two-time WWE United States Women's Champion, but unfortunately, she fell short in what felt like a very sloppy match on behalf of I will say on behalf of Zelina Vega's part for the most part. There was a spot here which was a pretty nasty looking one. She went for a fucking 619 and she couldn't contort her body through the ropes as Rey Mysterio typically does. And there was kind of like a little break there. And instead of, resetting the move or whatever, she kind of like threw herself and then threw her legs into Chelsea Green's face, hitting Chelsea Green's nose directly with her shoe. And unfortunately for Chelsea, she did end up breaking her nose in this match. Um, they didn't announce if it was because of that spot specifically, but I can imagine that's when she probably broke her fucking nose. Um, and then, of course, Zelina Vega did retain with a pinfall after executing a code red from the top rope. So she did retain her championship here. This one was very quick. I don't recall this shit being more than about like 8 to 10 minutes. But all in all, this match just felt a little sloppy to me. It's very unfortunate for both Zelina and Chelsea. The women got a chance to showcase their talent on the Saturday night's main event, but unfortunately, it wasn't the greatest of matches, and it resulted in Chelsea Green probably being off of TV for maybe a couple of weeks. Maybe they'll put her in a mask or something. But I hope she's okay, and I hope she recovers well. And we'll see where Zelina Vega goes from here, who her next opponent will be, and when she'll be defending this title again, probably sometime on SmackDown. Maybe even Julia. I would love to see that. That'd be interesting. But wanted to get your thoughts on this match here between Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green. Do you feel like they made the right decision with having Zelina Vega keep the WWE Women's United States Championship?
Yeah, I think it was the right call. I think Chelsea did what she had to do with the US belt, and if they move her on to something else, that'd be fine. If she wants to take a break because of the injury, come back and regain her US title, I'm fine with that too. But I feel like Zelina Vega just getting that belt, and with the popularity I've seen online with the fans, kind of backing her, I think that it was the right call. I didn't see Zelina Vega losing that night, and I'm glad she didn't. I do feel bad for Chelsea. I had no idea that she actually broke her nose, but I'm with you. I could imagine that it was from that kick because that botch was pretty bad. There have been recently, not only in WWE across the board, there have been just really bad botches recently, and I feel like that's something that needs to be addressed, or at least someone in the back needs to tell these superstars that they need to pay a little bit more close attention to what they're doing. uh, the botch between Zelina and Chelsea could have been easily fixed, like you said, by just a quick and easy reset. But now, because of something that felt rushed, maybe it was because of the time restraint, but now because of that rushed, attack, now Chelsea Green is going to be missing some screen time, and that sucks because she's riding this high right now. The fans are really behind her. So I hope that she can continue, maybe even like a Bronson Reed, just stick to social media. Don't let your presence be not felt while you're gone, and hopefully the fans don't forget about her and she continues this run that she's had, before this injury. Hopefully, if anything serious, she'll be back in a couple of weeks. But we'll see. I feel like she is someone that can pull off that mask gimmick, kind of like like a Cody Rhodes did. I feel like she can do some comedic shit with that. So if they do that
Hmm.
for a while, I feel like that'll be fine. Overall, though, this match, like you said, it was a little bit sloppy. I don't know if it was, like I said, I don't know if it was about with the time restraint that they have, but at least the ladies got to go out there and show out. I am a Zelina Vega fan. I feel like people need to give her a chance to cook. She is
We gave
someone.
her a chance.
Not
She
enough,
broke
okay?
Chelsea's nose.
Not enough. I feel like she doesn't get the credit that she deserves. She's been in this company for a long time, and she's a solid in-ring worker. I would even compare her to
Eh,
someone. Oh, then you're not gonna like this because I'm about to compare her to
yeah,
someone.
probably not.
I'm about to compare her work to someone like an AJ Lee. I feel that when people go like,
All
"Oh, we
right,
want
bro.
AJ Lee back. We want AJ Lee." You have an
All right,
AJ Lee
bro.
in the WWE, but you don't give her the opportunities to shine. And people like you are the ones that don't give her the opportunity to fucking shine because
What
you
you
don't want to
mean?
see her. Because you
I
go, "Oh,
didn't.
well,
I
well
didn't. I didn't break Chelsea Green's nose on Saturday. That wasn't me. I
listen."
we the, that was not me. Just what's the last time you saw a Zelina Vega match and you were like, that was a good match?
They don't give her enough time to shine. How am I supposed to tell you that? Though when she won
I
it off
mean,
of Chelsea Green,
I I don't know if that was a good match. I feel like Chelsea Green shouldn't have lost. I don't understand why Vega won the match in the first place. Why she won the championship. It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate that the timing for her winning the United States Championship was on the same night that her husband returned to the WWE television. That's a little unfortunate for her. I don't know. I don't really find that a coincidence. Did she deserve a match on television? Sure. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve to be on TV, but for her to dethrone Chelsea Green, I'm not feeling it. She's also five. She might not even be 5 feet. She's about 4'8". It's just not believable to me as a fan. Listen, I get it. She's cool, solid in ring. I don't even. I don't listen. She's cool. I really enjoyed her a lot more when she was managing Andrade and when she was with the LWO. I thought that's when she was at her best.
mm.
I don't think she's somebody that should be carrying a belt. Thankfully, it's not the WWE Women's Championship, the one that Tiffany's carrying, or Io. Um, but I guess we're just gonna have to agree to disagree here. But I don't know. I'm not feeling it, and I also feel like she gets a lot of television time compared to other women on the roster. Um, when they had Electra Lopez, yeah, she didn't get any fucking television time. Zelina Vega got all the time. Electra Lopez could have had a shot. So the sword falls both ways. I don't know. You know, I didn't break Chelsea Green's nose. I can't recall the last time I said that was a good Zelina Vega match. That's just me, but I guess we'll just leave it at that. She's still our United States champion, so I don't know if you have any possible predictions who might dethrone her, or do you see her carrying it
Mm.
for a little bit longer? This was also only her first title defense. She's had a couple matches following her winning the belt, but this was only her first defense. So um, I wonder who they're gonna have her face next. Do you have any ideas? Anyone you will want to see her have a solid match with? Maybe give her some time to cook. If you were booking it and you wanted to see her put on a good match, who would you put her in the ring with?
Well, the thing is that there's like, it's kind of hard to say because there's going to be a lot of movement coming soon, because um, either whether we have the draft or we have this open season of, talent being able to move wherever the fuck they want, there's going to be some changes in the roster. So there's a lot of people. There's some people that I would think immediately off the bat, kind of like an Ivy Nile, that I would like to see hold that belt over Selena Vega, just because I think, like I said before, American Made is going to have this big year this year, and I feel like we're starting to see it with all the movement that Chad and the boys are making. I feel like it's time for like Ivy to start making one of those moves, and we started getting that a little bit maybe a couple weeks ago, but then her momentum stopped For whatever reason, I have no idea, but we haven't really seen Ivy now on TV, or at least on a singles competition since then. So I kind of want to see her back in this picture. She'd be someone I'd love, Zelina Vega to wrestle and possibly to lose the belt from. But other than that, it's just it would we would have to see where everybody's landing. There's a lot of movement right now. Something that we probably won't even touch on tonight is there's a lot of NXT stars that are moving up. So the landscape is changing, and we'll just have to wait who to see who they're gonna put her up against. But I feel like she's solid. I feel like we have to give her a chance. Like you said, this is the first title defense. Give her at least the 3 title defenses. If you want to take it off her on the third because you're not feeling it, fine. But you have to kind of give the person a little bit of time to cook, because if we don't, you're never gonna give them that chance to shine, that chance for the fans to get to know them. And I feel like right now they're doing that for Zelina Vega, so I'm interested. I love Chelsea Green. I would have loved to seen her, win the belt and probably have another run with it. But I like what I'm seeing from Zelina Vega right now, so I'm glad that we're keeping it on her for now.
You're tripping. I can't believe you said that she's comparable to AJ Lee. That shit is crazy to me.
I do.
But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
will. I
I
will
don't know.
fight anyone. I will debate anyone on that subject, brother,
I
because
I just would disagree. I don't think she's had any um
she had
valuable or
massive
meaningful
success
feud.
in NXT. Like, we can't just think of what she's done on the main roster. She's had a career already in the WWE, so it's not
For
like
sure.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure. Listen, I hear that she could have had success, and she did have success in NXT. But again, like, we're comparing apples to oranges. That's NXT. AJ Lee was doing this on national television, on pay-per-views. People were invested in her matches, in her stories, in her as a wrestler, in her as an individual. I hear you on giving wrestlers an opportunity. I feel like they gave Zelina a lot of opportunity, and the fans just aren't buying it and aren't feeling it. And I would have to agree with them. Like, she hasn't given them a reason to really cheer for her. Like, she hasn't. They put the belt on her, and the match was okay when they had her beat Chelsea Green on SmackDown. But besides that, again, when's the last time you've seen her in a meaningful feud, in a meaningful match? And yes, you could blame the booking, but at the same time, you have to make what's you have to do your absolute best with what is given to you in that moment, no matter what. That's just the way of the road. Like, it is what it is. There's only certain limited minutes on television, and whatever you get, let it be 30 seconds, let it be 1 minute. You have to do your absolute best. And if the people don't care about you in that span, like, yes, you can keep giving her opportunities, but feel like she got a pretty big fucking opportunity on Saturday, and she fucked that up. And it
One
wasn't just like
botch.
but it was a pretty bad botch, and she broke
Oh.
the opponent's nose. So that's all I'm saying. And it's like, again, I have yet, since I've returned to watching wrestling, I have yet to be like, that was a good Zelina Vega match. I would like to see another match or a feud with this individual. Ivy Nile facing her, that'd be great for Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile whip her ass in 30 seconds.
It's
If we're
so
being realistic,
disrespectful.
in 30, if Ivy Nile would destroy her in about fucking less than a minute, if we were being realistic. So that would be great for Ivy Nile. I think you're onto something. That'd be cool. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I again the AJ Lee comparison,
I
crazy, but go ahead.
I'm trying to think how, because there's no, like, I feel like there's no changing your mind on the subject, even though you're ignoring all the signs. Like, you keep saying, like, oh, the fans aren't behind her. The fans are clearly behind this woman. Like, she clearly has fans. They cheer her on. They follow her on Instagram. They follow her on Twitch. Like, she has fans. Like, the disrespect to be like, ain't nobody fucking with her, that's kind of where I'm like losing it. Now, if you want to go up against me and say, like, oh, the disrespect between her and AJ Lee, you said it best yourself. AJ Lee carved a way for herself when they didn't have an NXT, when Vince was still not giving ladies a chance. Zelina is very blessed with the opportunity that she got to go through NXT, but she also carved a way for herself through NXT and made a name for herself in NXT. The fact that it didn't transfer over to the main roster, because at the time NXT wasn't making that connection between the main roster and NXT, that's different. But she still has made a name for herself. She's still solid as shit in the ring. If you can't see that, then I guess you can't see that, and she needs to do a better job at proving herself within the next couple of weeks. Because honestly, like it's a disrespectful to be like, oh, Zelina Vega ain't shit. This person will steamroller. Like that's how do you not see that the fans are behind her? Like
Because
it
they're not.
baffles me. They are
They're
though.
not.
Oh
They're
my.
not. If you go back and watch this pay per view, I swear to God, you go back and watch this Saturday night's main event. When she walks out, ain't nobody give a fuck. Didn't nobody cheer. This shit was quiet. It was the
The
quietest.
whole night, the audience when they
No,
would come out was muted. There was no way that you were.
that's
You're not telling me
no.
that they were dampening the crowd.
That's
Yes, they
not
were
true.
from the
That's
beginning
no,
of the
they're not.
show. Yes, they were.
Bro, they had CM Punk. They had the motherfucker singing CM Punk's song when he came out. They were not quiet. This was probably the best Saturday night's main event crowd that we've gotten. That's why the John Cena match was as good as it was, in my opinion. Great match, by the way. Great match. We're gonna get to that in a second. But I don't think they piped that shit down at all. And if anything, they should have piped that shit up for her. They should have bumped that shit up for her, and they couldn't do anything with it. I'm just saying, we go back and watch this replay, we can go back and watch every entrance in this past Saturday night. She got the least amount of cheers. She did, and it's not even fucking close. It's not even close. And I don't think I'm crazy for saying that. I would put money on she got the quietest pop. I don't even would have considered it a pop. Them motherfuckers were quiet as shit. Chelsea Green, she got a pop. They were excited to see Chelsea. I was excited to see Chelsea. A lot of motherfuckers was excited to see Chelsea. Zelina came out, ain't nobody give a fuck. That's just how I saw it. We can go back and watch the tape. The beautiful thing is that there is tape. There is game tape, so we can review that tape. But I don't know. I'm hey, if you're rocking with Zelina, I can respect it. I can appreciate it. She's our United States Women's Champion as it stands. Clearly, they're not gonna have her lose. Uh, Probably within the next month or so. I don't see her losing. Maybe they put her on that Money in the Bank on the pay per view. Maybe they have her in a match on the Go Home show on the Friday Night SmackDown. But we will see. We will see. But no, this is. I cannot wait to go watch this game tape. This is fucking hilarious. But no, we're just gonna have to wait and see where Zelina Vega goes from here. And like you said, Chelsea Green, she's fantastic. She's a fantastic personality on TV. You mentioned her doing the Cody Rhodes mask gimmick like back in the day. That could definitely be the case. And because she's also serving as a manager for the Secret Harvest for Piper Nevin and Abba Fire, they can easily keep her on television. And she's been on record saying she wants to be someone like the Miz, like a woman's version of the Miz. And I think that's exactly what we get from her. She's super consistent. She's great on TV. She's probably the best women's personality on SmackDown in my opinion. Like personality wise, she every time she pops on the screen, her and Tiffany, I think they're the crowd's favorites. They really do rock with Chelsea Green. That's a pop. Them motherfuckers get behind Chelsea Green. That's a pop. But nah, I don't
She
know.
worked for
We'll
that
see.
shit
Hopefully,
though, because
100%.
when she returned, it wasn't that loud. Like she definitely did the work to like get people
Yeah.
behind her, which is impressive as shit. Because when she left the company, people weren't rocking with Chelsea, and then when she came back, people are like, "Oh, weren't you already here already?" But she definitely worked her ass off to win that crowd over. So props to Chelsea.
No, she did. Fantastic. She had the same amount of time Zelina did.
Hijo de
That's
su-
all that's all I'm saying. But there's a match. I will not. I didn't forget what you said. I didn't forget what you said. You
Neither
said
did I.
Our truth is gonna give John Cena the best match of his run, or
Mm,
something along those lines.
I did.
And listen. This was a really fun match.
Oh, this wasn't the
And
best match of his run, dude.
wait, motherfucker, I'm not done. Wait, this was. I don't know if it was better than the Randy Orton match,
Hmm.
not because the reason it's two different matches. It's two different matches. The Randy Orton match, of course, was a longer, more thought out match, and it was fun for what it was, and it was the culmination of a 20-year rivalry. So there was a lot more at stake there. They were going to give them a little bit more time to, tell that story in the ring. And I thought they did a fantastic job of that in that moment. Towards the end, of course, we got the fucking, we got all the dramatics with the referees, et cetera, et cetera. We talked about that already. But that match was great for what it was. This match, our truth made John Cena look the absolute best he has looked since he's came back.
What the fuck?
Like watching this match, I was like, yo, this is the John Cena that I remember watching. Like, this is him. And it was all because of our truth. Our truth sold the fuck out of everything. It was sick and it was so fun. And the crowd loved it. The crowd was cheering, they were having a blast, and it worked so fucking well. And I thought I probably enjoyed this John Cena match the most so far. I will say that this shit was 100 times better than the shit we got at fucking WrestleMania. And so listen, you said something crazy at the time, but there was some merit behind it, and I can admit that this was a really fun match. I really did enjoy this. The part that I thought was great at towards the end of and it was a quick one. It was like fucking 8-10 minutes. He hit his signature shit,
Mm-hmm.
and of course to start the match, R Truth hilariously came out as a John Cena clone. He came out wearing his own John Cena shirt, the whole gear, the headbands, the hat. So he was just paying homage to his goat and being funny about it. And so of course John Cena was pissed off. He didn't think it was funny. He started off hot. We got all the famous moves, the SCFUs, the five knuckle shuffles, the FUs. Towards the end of the match, there was a point where, of course, John Cena went to go grab the championship to use it against R Truth, but he acted like, you know what? Let me not do that. Let me do the right thing. Let me give the championship to the ref. Let me hand it over and let me fight R Truth like a man. But when he handed the championship over to the ref, so the ref could throw it out of the ring again, John Cena just kicked him in the nuts, hit him with the FU, and that was a wrap. He won the match, so in a very quick one. But I must say, this again, I really did enjoy this match. I think R Truth allowed John Cena to have his best performance so far during this retirement tour. So I really enjoyed this. Want to get your thoughts on this match and how you're feeling after saying what you said, that R Truth was going to give him the best match.
Look, I'll admit where I was wrong when I'm wrong, okay? And it probably wasn't, the best match that John Cena will have during his retirement tour, but I want to thank R Truth for giving us the John Cena match that we've been craving. You said it best. This is the John Cena that we've been wanting the entire time. And I feel like our truth kind of mimicking him, even to the point of, like you said, rocking all his gear, bringing the towel, even using the Titantrons. Like all that kind of pushed John Cena to be like, if they're getting hate, if they're getting hyped for a fake John Cena, maybe I should put some muscle into this match. And it was phenomenal. I'm with you. I had a lot of fun watching this match from the entrances all the way to the end. Um, I don't know if I necessarily like the fact that John Cena, I guess, teased at cheating um, with the belt at some point. I don't think that this match needed that. I feel like because there's nothing really at stake. There wasn't anything really at stake. The belt wasn't even on the line. He could have just straight out beat R Truth, and the same, I guess, the same effect would have been had. John Cena at the end of the night, we knew that Ron wasn't going to be winning, so John Cena was going to win at the end of the night, and that's exactly what happened. R Truth went out there and he gave one hell of a show, though, and I'm glad he did, because at least this might remind some people that R Truth can still go, no matter how much time he's been in the company. He could still go out there and perform when he needs to. So I had a lot of fun with this match. It looks like John Cena already has a match locked in for Money in the Bank, and we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, this solid match. I had a lot of fun. I even ordered the shirt. I have that that Ron or that R Truth John Cena shirt coming in. So very very much enjoyed this. Sad that it didn't go a little bit longer, but again, the time constraint of it being on a Saturday night's main event, I had completely forgotten about that, to be honest. So I'm sad that they didn't give enough time to cook a little bit more. But what they did in that time was phenomenal.
It was a fun match for what it was, and I really did enjoy it. And what I didn't enjoy, though, what I did not enjoy, was what happened after this match. What happened after this match, shortly after John Cena went backstage. He was done. He had just beat R Truth, and he ran into somebody, another champion, a champion that he had lost to at the Royal Rumble. The motherfucker that pushed him out of the ring, Jey Uso. He walked by Jey Uso. They had a little bit of a conversation, and John Cena doing this little heel cadence with his voice, just told Jay like it'd be ashamed if someone like Logan Paul, a YouTuber, would walk into the WWE and take the World Heavyweight Championship away from you. That would really ruin wrestling. And so you just knew at that point that later on in that night, the main event being Logan Paul and Jey Uso, that maybe John Cena was going to make a surprise appearance. Maybe he was going to interfere in this match, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we get there. But before that, we got our fourth match of the night: Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre in a steel cage match. I have very, very few words to say about this match. Um,
Same.
I'm really just exhausted. I get it. Like Drew McIntyre probably had to take this loss here, go off television for a while, and take a little bit of a break that he really does deserve. And when he does return, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be epic, and hopefully he's catapulted into like the fucking WWE Championship picture. Um, but my goodness, I don't know what Damian Priest has on Triple H. I really don't fucking get it. I do not get it. I don't understand it. Like it's crazy to me. This match was a solid match. It was actually a
Wow.
pretty fun fucking steel cage match between the two of them. They had a lot of close calls. Drew and Priest were going back and forth. There was a few times when Drew McIntyre hit his Claymore kick. I think there was a point where he hits Damian Priest with like or was it fucking Damian that hit him with a razor's edge from? No, he hit him with a suplex from the top of the steel cage, and at that point, I thought it was over. I thought Drew won the match, and no, it was a near fall. Then he hit him with a fucking Claymore kick. Nope, it was a near fall. And then Damian Priest just gets up, south of heaven here, south of heaven there, hits him with a fucking concerto to the head, and instead of taking this is what really pissed me off. This is what really pissed me off. So this motherfucker Damian Priest hits Drew McIntyre with a concerto. So clearly he's out. He's knocked out. He's knocked out. You can win the steel cage by one of three ways. You can climb over the steel cage, you can walk through the steel door, or you can pin or submit your opponent. The motherfucker hit him with a concerto. It was over. He literally knocked him out. Pin him, pin him, do him the service of just pinning him. Instead of fucking pinning him, what Damian Priest does is stands over Drew McIntyre for like 30 seconds. Doesn't say much, just looks at him. And then he walks out slowly through the steel door in the most undramatic fucking way possible, in the most cowardly way possible. Like if we were gonna do this, if we were gonna have Damian Priest win, at least make it look fucking good. At least make it look fucking good. Having him walk out of the steel door just like nothing had happened and like here, that's how I choose to win. I don't even pin you. That was the wackest shit, and it was so cowardly like, and even so much so fucking Jesse Ventura complained on commentary. He said, what the fuck did I just watch? He said, wow, that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna walk out like a coward. Even he was pissed. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm just glad this shit is over, and I just have to accept that Damian Priest is gonna be on my television screen for as long as I keep watching this shit. I'm not gonna enjoy it. I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. I don't really care anymore. Drew McIntyre keeps losing. I'm glad he's off of television. We don't fucking deserve him. Um, we don't. We don't. We really don't. And so I hope he gets a nice little break and rest. And hopefully when he comes back, he doesn't have to fucking face Damian Priest ever again. I said I had a little bit to say, but I guess I had a lot. Want to hear your thoughts on this match? How are you feeling about Drew McIntyre being out for a bit? Are you gonna miss him on television? And where are we at with Damian Priest, man? Where the fuck does he go from here? Because he's not gonna win the WWE Championship. That's what he's not gonna do. He's not gonna win the World Heavyweight Championship. Not gonna do that either. So who does he go to feud with after this? Like, I don't fucking know. Rusev can come beat his ass for me, please. That'd be fucking great. But anyways, your thoughts on this match as a whole, and just Damian Priest in general. Fuck that guy, man.
I feel like on this match, I guess we're on the opposite sides of the fence. I thought this was boring as fuck. I did not enjoy this at
Word?
all. I think I'm burnt out on Damien versus Drew because Fuck, dude. I feel like at the beginning of the year, I was saying, please separate these guys, get them on different brands or something, just get them away from each other. And we just can't. We're already we're at the end of May, and we're having these guys face each other in a fucking steel cage at Saturday Night's Main Event. Why? Like, I don't, like you said, I don't know what the fuck Damian Priest has on old Hunter, but holy shit, brother. This guy gets more chances than fucking anyone else in the company. I just and the ending. I think I was with fucking Jesse the Body Ventura on this one. What the fuck, bro? Like when he hit him with the chair and he was just standing over him, I even jokingly said, "Just walk out. Just walk out. He's not gonna get up from that. Just walk out." And then he walked to the door. And I was like, okay. I was like, he's walking out. I was like, he's probably gonna get to the end of the steps and then he's gonna walk back in because rage is gonna take over him and then he'll lose this match. And as he teases that, I go, you know what? Fuck it. Just walk off. End it right here. No one's going to care. And what did he do? He just stepped off. I was baffled. I was like, what the fuck just happened? That's not how you end a feud that was so heated in this fashion. Like, what the fuck? Like, and is this going to continue? I hope not, because he definitely he looked very confused as he was walking away. Like, even he didn't know why the fuck he stepped off. So I don't know, dude. I don't want to see this. I'm already as burnt out as I can be on a Drew versus Priest fucking rivalry. I really don't want them to fight each other anymore. And if that look of concern means that we're gonna get to see them fight each other one more time, I'm honestly I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. To put it lightly, I don't know what I'm gonna
Uh,
do with myself because it's getting fucking stale and it's getting fucking boring. And to be honest, Drew deserves better. Drew deserves better. And now, hey, look, if he needs to take some time, like you said, to reset and come back, fuck it. But give him something to do when he comes back. Stop doing this to him, bro. Stop.
nah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up what they did to my boy Drew. But he's gonna be back, and he's not gonna be facing Damian Priest, so it's gonna be fine. Um, where Damian Priest goes from here, who knows? Who cares? Uh, but it's not gonna be anywhere near a championship. I can tell you that much. Um, shit, give him to the bloodline. How about we switch what LA Knight and Damian Priest does? Let Damian Priest go fucking face the bloodline for a few weeks. This shit's getting annoying. Anyways, following this match, we get the main event of the night, one that you were looking forward to, Jey Uso against Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight Championship. But I will make note of this, and I haven't made note of it yet. This Saturday night's main event on timing was crazy because when this match fucking started, when the walkout started, it was it was fucking like 9:48 p.m. Eastern with 12 minutes left of national television time. Jey Uso was just walking out, and this motherfucker takes about 6 minutes to walk out because he got to get 100 yeets off. So by the time this match started, there was about like six. I'm being generous. There was about 8 minutes left of television time. In the span of those 8 minutes left, from 9:52 to 10 p.m., we got fucking two commercial breaks, bro. Two commercial breaks. We got commercial breaks every 30 seconds. It felt like this special event. It was fucking ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. It's fucking unwatchable. It's actually insane. It's in fucking ridiculous. Anyways, so we get 10 minutes left with this fucking match. And it makes sense because the motherfucker in the match isn't that good. So they got to protect him. They got to give him not that much time. And that's exactly what they do. And you know what's crazy? You know what's fucking crazy? Um, all of his title defenses have ended in run-ins. Motherfucker hasn't won a match by himself since he's won this title. It's actually the craziest charity fucking title run I've ever seen. This is crazy. And now he's gonna. I'm not even talking about this match. And now they gifted him. They gifted him a tag match with Cody Rhodes against John Cena and Logan Paul. And I just got all ahead of myself. But during this match here, Jey Uso was attacked by none other than John Cena, because again, John Cena earlier in the night backstage told Jey Uso it'd be a fucking shame if you let a YouTuber come in here and take that belt off of you. So of course John Cena comes out during this match with like a minute fucking left, and on the TV show, and he comes out, tries to help out Logan Paul, attacks Jey Uso, and as he's beating up Jey Uso, whose music hits? Whose fucking music hits? Cody Rhodes. Cody fucking Rhodes, a month after his loss at WrestleMania, the quarterback, the quarterback is back, as Michael Cole called him. He said, "Oh, it's the quarterback," and Cody Rhodes ran out, saving fucking Jey Uso, getting John Cena off of him, hitting him with a few punches and throwing him outside, but not before, of course. And then right after, Jey Uso was able to hit his fucking spear, followed by the Uso splash on Logan Paul, winning the match. And as soon as the match was over, Cody Rhodes had to run back into the ring because he only had 10 seconds of television time to grab the mic and tell John Cena, "Hey, John, you know, you might have a friend in Logan Paul, but I have a brother in Jey Uso, and at Money in the Bank, it's gonna be me and Jay versus you and Logan Paul." And we get that announcement. We get the official match announcement. So now John Cena and Logan Paul are tag partners, and so are Jey Uso and Cody. We've seen this before though, so that's fair. You know, that's fair. I guess that's fucking fair. But but now Jey Uso gets to be placed in a tag match, and it's fucking ridiculous. I started this shit by saying all we're getting is run-ins, another fucking run-in. My goodness, man, my goodness. Anyways, I couldn't even really be that excited about my boy Cody. I was hyped though, you know. I was like, oh shit, Cody's back. That's my dog. And I was even more excited that I didn't forget because the last time we saw Cody, my boy looked like a bitch on live television, and that's because of what they did to him at WrestleMania. But I saw my boy Cody, and I was like, all right, that's my dog. He's back. Go whip John Cena's ass. So I'm glad I had that reaction. I was happy to see Cody. I don't know how you're feeling. How did you feel about Cody's return? Do you feel like they made the right call bringing him back at Saturday night's main event? And are you looking forward to this tag match here? And then maybe any thoughts on the Logan Paul and Jey Uso match if you want to get to it. But I know there's not much to discuss.
Nah, there's not much to discuss. I will give Logan props. I feel like he did phenomenal in this match. But again, his in ring work is not the problem. You know, I have a problem with his promos and with his backstage segments. I feel like as a YouTuber, as someone who for the majority of his life has talked to a wall, you should be able to cut a better promo and that not coming through. So I feel like for Logan Paul, during this night, amazing in the ring. You did your job, kid. Now just show us a little bit more that you got that kind of, that superstar in you on the mic. So the match, yeah, nothing special here. What was important here was the end. But again, I've said this for fucking I feel like months now. I'm so tired that like if it's not every week, every other week we have a run in to ruin something. And it's been happening for the longest time. And now it's finally reached, the main stage. And Cody, I guess it makes sense in this respect. I'm glad too we have Cody back, but Cody finally comes back. He does his run in and again, I don't understand. We need some kind of like clarification on who has pull and who doesn't, because who the fuck gave Cody the power to make a match like this? One, if I'm gonna see Jey Uso wrestle at Money in the Bank, it should be for his fucking belt, not in a goddamn tag team match. And two, to just put Logan Paul with John Cena, hey, at least it's not fucking Travis Scott, so at least I could be happy in that respect. Am I excited for the Money in the Bank match? A little bit. I'm kind of not on board with having Jay on there, but I guess like I said, it makes sense in this respect. I wish Cody would have picked someone else. Shit, I would have even preferred if he picked Jimmy to be his tag partner. But am I excited? Yeah, it'll be a solid match. For what happens to Cody after? I mean, it seems like he's gonna be chasing John for a bit. Is he gonna be the one to beat John? I don't know. I think that it's a little soon for him to be the one to beat John, but hey, we don't know what the fuck is going with the John Cena storyline from the get go. So I'm not gonna try to theorize too much on where they're going with it. We'll just have to sit back and enjoy the ride on this
No, I ain't sitting back and enjoying shit. John Cena's gonna lose this shit at SummerSlam probably because they're doing the 2 night first time in New York. So I think that's most definitely gonna be the second night's main event, and also that's fucking crazy, bro. We've gotten to the point where SummerSlam is now 2 nights, bro. Really, really, is that what we're doing, bro?
Is
Like,
this the
nah,
first
bro.
time that it's been 2 nights? I feel like we had a
Yes,
2 nights
bro.
before. No.
No, no.
Oh,
We have never had it 2 nights. The only 2 night event that we've gotten has been Wrestle fucking
WrestleMania.
Mania. And now they're gonna do SummerSlam, and they're talking about doing Royal Rumble,
Mm-mm.
and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These motherfuckers are getting real greedy, and I'm getting really tired of it. And I think that's the fucking problem with the product is that they're getting greedy. They figured out a formula, and the formula it works for it's working for them now, but at some point there's going to be some burnout, and it's starting, and I'm seeing it trickle, and people are getting tired, and these prices are outrageous, and they're making it very fucking difficult to be a to be fucking family friendly and allow kids to be at these shows and enjoy the moments. And so I don't know, man, that's the whole fucking problem in and of itself. Gonna get back to this shit what we were fucking talking about, but this that shit being 2 nights is fucking crazy. But the main event, most likely I would bet on it being John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. And if my lord, my fucking lord, if Cody Rhodes main events night 2 of SummerSlam against John Cena, and the motherfucker loses again in a fashion in which he did to WrestleMania at WrestleMania, just go back to AEW, bro. Cause they clearly disrespecting you. They not fucking with you here over here on WWE. They not. They're not. So I don't know, but that's probably what's gonna happen. I see Cody winning, getting his shit back, um, but not before Travis Scott makes a return at Money in the Bank. Mm-mm, not before that. I will fucking bet money that he's going to make a return at Money in the Bank. I think he's going to play a role in that match. It's going to be taking place in Los Angeles, and he was in Los Angeles when they were at the Monday Night Raw debut on Netflix. So I don't know, man. And remember who walked Travis Scott out at fucking or who? Yeah, who?
Yeah.
No, excuse me. Who walked out with Travis Scott at fucking at Monday Night Raw on Netflix? It was Jey Uso. So I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I would bet money that Travis Scott's gonna be there.
Let's hope not.
And we will see. We will see. Nah, hey, John Cena wanted to ruin wrestling according to some motherfuckers. So if that's his way of ruining wrestling, then go ahead, so be it, whatever. Um, but good for Jey Uso. He gets another pay-per-view where he doesn't have to defend his WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Um, but man, that's Saturday night's main event. So want to just get your final thoughts on it. Did you enjoy it as a whole? Has this been one of your more memorable Saturday night's main events since they've returned this special event on national television?
Um, I think this one was solid. I feel like this one has been probably one of the better ones since we've returned. Um, I would say that personally, I guess I'll lead it into I'll lead in saying this. I want to play a little game with you on these at the end of the reviews for them and play glorified house show or decent live event. Um, I think that this was a decent live event for this week. I know that we've been throwing the glorified house show term a lot, but this one really did. I feel like it was solid. I had a lot of fun watching it, from the start to the end. I would say that the main event wasn't as good as the other matches on this card, but still, it had impact going into the future of what we will be seeing on the product for the next couple of weeks. So I say that this was a solid live event. I want to get your thoughts on it. Do you think that this was just another glorified house show this week, or do you think that it was a solid live event?
No, I think this was a solid live event, especially with the progression and the introduction of Bronson Reed to Seth Rollins' faction, and Cody Rhodes making his return. So those are two big pieces of the story of the WWE story as a whole, and for those particular reasons, I think this was a solid live event, and it wasn't just a glorified house show. Um, and if it weren't for the goddamn commercial breaks, it might have been a lot more enjoyable to watch on television, and yeah, dude, that shit was actually fucking ridiculous looking back at it. But besides that, no, I think it was a solid live event. I think the fans enjoyed it. I think it has a lot of positive feedback as we head into Money in the Bank We're now excited that Cody Rhodes is back. What is he gonna say on the next time we see him on television? Is that tomorrow on Friday night? So we will see. And no, I thought I really enjoyed it. It was a solid way to spend a Saturday evening, if I must say so myself. Um, but no, it was. I'm glad that Cody is back. But moving into a few more returns that you brought up at the beginning of the show, one that you were so excited about. You texted me, you said, "Oh my God, she's coming back! Can't believe it! Get ready to watch television on Monday night." Um, but anyways, Liv Morgan has now returned from filming a movie. I know she was spending some time overseas. She has returned to Monday Night Raw. She was at this last episode, and she made her return in the most interesting of ways. We get a backstage segment with Dominic Mysterio and the rest of the Judgment Day just hanging out playing video games, and of course Roxanne Perez, who has now been introduced to the Judgment Day by Finn Balor himself. You know, not as an official member just yet, but more as a friend that can assist them when needed. But clearly, it's clear as day that Finn Balor has a master plan here at heart. And of course, Roxanne Perez had brought chicken nuggets, a plate of chicken nuggets, over to Dominic Mysterio because she's trying to win him over, you know, get on his good side, while Liv Morgan is out. And so she's handing him some chicken nuggets. He's playing video games, eating those nuggets, and then we get a camera angle, and the crowd pops for Liv Morgan as she walks through, and she's like, "Dominic, what's going on?" And she's not too happy to see Roxanne Perez backstage with her partner. And so it was just hilarious to see in real time. Um, and so I just wanted to get your thoughts on Liv Morgan being back, and how are you feeling about Roxanne Perez now being a part or intertwined in this Judgment Day faction? Do you think we're gonna get a potential Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez match in the near future?
I definitely feel like there's some changes coming to the Judgment Day. I I think it's a hilarious how comical Finn Balor's expressions have been towards this whole situation. You could always see him in the background, just loving life over all the drama that's been happening. Like you said, Roxanne's kind of been introduced lightly, kind of in the way that Carlito was introduced at the beginning of a Judgment Day. So I do feel like even if it's not Judgment Day, if they change the faction name and whatever respect that they carry on, Roxanne will be in that faction, in that group. Whose spot she will be taking, I would imagine that we're starting to see, the road being laid for Liv to be, leaving probably the Judgment Day, and more than likely Raquel, because it seems like, after her loss on Monday, Liv kind of blamed Raquel. So maybe, Roxanne will now start working her way into taking over Raquel's spot in the group, seeing as that's like now a kind of way in for her. But we'll have to wait and see on that. I am loving everything that's going on with the Judgment Day. I feel like they've picked it up because it was kind of getting stale after a while. You and me were even on the point where we were kind of tired of even having to talk about the Judgment Day week by week because nothing really was happening, which is a shame because we have a lot of people in there that we like a Finn Balor. And speaking on Finn Balor, I don't know if you heard, but there's a small rumor that says that our boy is getting a huge push in the next couple months leading into next year. So I'm excited for that. So that itself presents itself for the Judgment Day or whatever faction it turns into to do big things later on down the road. So I'm excited. We'll have to see how long they keep Roxanne in this kind of pledged kind of form. But I definitely see her, just joining the group eventually, even if it is a kind of, side deal like a Carlito.
Listen, man, I am happy that they're switching something up with the Judgment Day because, like you said, they have gotten stale. I think that the money match here in the near future, maybe even at SummerSlam, is going to be Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. I think that's going to be the payoff out of this here, and it's going to be a good match. It's going to be great because Liv Morgan has been on fire. She's been on a run lately, and Roxanne Perez, as we know, she can wrestle her ass off. And having that opportunity at SummerSlam is going to be huge for her, and I think that's where this is ultimately headed, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a summer of getting to that point. So we have Money in the Bank, and then we have the Evolution pay per view. So maybe even it could potentially happen there. So I think that's where this, of course, is going to be headed. Where Dominic Mysterio falls on that, which side he falls on is probably the most interesting. Is he going to help Roxanne? Is he going to do the same thing that he did to Rhea Ripley with Liv Morgan? Is he going to do that to Liv Morgan with Roxanne Perez? So a lot of questions to be asked. You said something interesting about Finn Balor potentially getting a push. They said that shit last year. Ain't shit happened this year. I'm not gonna believe it till I see it. They're calling that brother Pin Balor now. That's where we're at. That is where we're at.
That's fair.
So I will not believe it until I see it. Um, and then later on in this match, in the night on Monday Night Raw, Liv Morgan faced Kyrie Sane, and you mentioned it. Liv unfortunately lost in her return match because Roxanne Perez came out to try and help, and instead of helping, she served as a distraction for Raquel, who usually assists Liv Morgan with getting a win somehow, some way. And this time around, Raquel wasn't there to help, so Kyrie Sane was able to get the pin on Liv Morgan, walking away with the win, leaving Liv Morgan upset, sort of kind of blaming Raquel Rodriguez for not being focused and for being a distraction. As she mentioned, she is a veteran and she should know better than that. So there are some ripples in those relationships already, and like you mentioned, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with the Judgment Day. But it will be interesting. I got my money on Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez at SummerSlam. Um, but another big point of interest at this moment, of course, is the men's Money in the Bank and the women's Money in the Bank matches. And we've gotten a few qualifying matches already. And we know the majority of the slate so far in terms of the competitors that have qualified to the men's Money in the Bank match, and that of course is Solo Sikoa, who qualified by beating Ray Phoenix and Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight was the second qualifier. He moved forward by beating Aleister Black and Shinsuke Nakamura. Penta has now also qualified in a following a phenomenal match between Chad Gable and Dragon Lee, as well as Seth Rollins, which is very, very interesting as he is now qualified after he's beaten Finn Balor and Sami Zayn in a triple threat as well. So we got Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins. Four of the six so far and upcoming, we have a match for the fifth qualifier between Jacob Fatu, Andrade, and Carmelo Hayes on Friday Night SmackDown. This match here is going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to this the most. This could have even been on Saturday night's main event. Being that SmackDown is 3 fucking hours, I hope they give them 30 minutes. Let these guys have a great main event. But of those three individuals, want to start off here. Jake Fatu, Andrade, and Carmelo Hayes. Who do you want to see qualify to the Money in the Bank?
Well, you already know how I feel about people with belts being in these qualifying matches, so I'm immediately, sadly, gonna disqualify Jacob Fatu. I don't think that he needs this. I think the match itself, being with Andrade and Carmelo, does a lot more for him than actually winning this match. So it would have to be between Andrade and Carmelo, and I feel like the pick here has to be Carmelo just for the fact that they have been giving him those backstage segments with the Miz. They have been giving him the push of winning the Andre the Battle, battle royale. Like I feel like they haven't really shown Andrade much, and I don't even think he's on that Worlds Collide card. So I don't really see it being Andrade. Um, yeah, I think that my pick on this one, just because it makes sense, would be Carmelo Hayes.
I would have to agree with you there. I think Carmelo would be a phenomenal Money in the Bank winner. If they do go on and he wins it, I think it's believable and I think he has a shot and it would be sick and I'd be happy for him. But you're right. I agree with you there. I don't think it makes sense for Jacob Fatu as the United States champion to compete in this match because like technically someone could cash in on him, so I don't see him winning. um I don't see Andrade winning, unfortunately for him as well, and I think the most sense is Carmelo Hayes. So this, but all in all, I hope we get a fun match here. And the story with Jacob Fatu is probably going to be Solo Sikoa or Jeff Cobb coming in to interfere, and unfortunately costing Jacob Fatu the match, which will result in him being upset, us getting a Jacob versus Solo, Jacob versus Jeff Cobb situation and feud, because that is of course where we're headed as well. So I think that's what will happen there. But let's talk a little bit about the other competitors in this match: Solo Sikoa, LA Knights, Penta, and Seth Rollins. A very interesting slate of individuals here so far. Of these four, who would you who would have your vote of confidence in being the Money in the Bank winner at the end of the night?
I'm split right now between two people, and I don't think you're gonna guess who these people are. One, my heart's kind of like the wrestling fan, and me is kind of thinking Seth Rollins just because of what they're doing with him. But it also kind of makes me worry that it might not be him just because we've seen him do this. We've seen him go in, win Money in the Bank, cash in successfully. We've seen him do it more than once, and I don't want to see him just be that guy, that cashes in. So I don't know if they'll necessarily go for the most obvious pick, which brings me to I think it might be Solo Sokoa. LA Knight, I love you. I don't think that you're, I guess, per se necessarily ready for like a big title picture. I feel like you still have some work that you can do with some of the smaller belts. And for Penta, it's kind of the same thing. You're new, bro. Like, regrettably, as much as I'm gonna say this, you're probably gonna get stuck in a tag team soon, just like fucking Rob has been saying for weeks. So I don't see him winning this, and if he does, then that would be a wasted Money in the Bank briefcase. So honestly, I think just out of a crazy whim, Solo might win this to start some, maybe some internal turmoil between him and his group.
That's an interesting pick. I don't see Solo winning it, unfortunately, for Solo. And if the motherfucker wins it, that would kind of be crazy. I would love LA Knight to win it. I really would. I think he's deserving of it. Especially after that shit last year. Was it last year or the year before when fucking Damian Priest won it the year before?
Yeah.
That was bullshit. That was bullshit. Yeah, fuck him. So I hope LA Knight wins this year. I think but if it's not LA Knight, I hope it is Seth Rollins. And again, like he has this faction now. If Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed aren't wrestling at Money in the Bank, then they better be interfering and helping him win. Um, because that would just make the most fucking sense. Have him win, then he has all the power. The whole point of him being the person who he is and recruiting Bronson and fucking Braun Breaker so he can have all the power in the WWE and control the future. And how would you control the future with a Money in the Bank briefcase? You can cash in whenever you like on whatever championship. Of course, you'd go for the world heavyweight, following a Jey Uso match, etc. So I think that would probably make the most sense is to have Seth Rollins win here, or LA Knight in my opinion. Yeah, Penta's not winning. Yeah, he
No,
not winning.
no,
That's
he's not.
that's for sure. Um,
Now, let me ask you this.
so
You said it yourself. You said if if the boys aren't doing anything, they should be coming in to run and help Seth Rollins. What if we get that on the solo side as well? Do you think that maybe an altercation between both of these groups may lead into something between them post Money in the Bank?
the Bloodline and Seth Rollins' faction,
Mm-hmm.
I probably not. Like there probably be a moment there for sure. Like we will definitely get a face off. Maybe Jeff Cobb versus Bronson Reed. Like that face off we would probably get. But will it result in a match between those two groups at this moment?
Not a match, but
I
like
don't
maybe
think.
like a storyline of them kind of
Mm,
going up against each other. Because let's say per se they don't win, neither Solo or Seth
mm,
win this, and now they have beef because both of their groups kind of cost it for them, and now these two groups are
mm.
facing each other. Do you see that happening? Any chance of that happening maybe in the future?
I mean, there's a chance. There's a chance that happens for sure. I don't think like I wouldn't bet money on it, no, but just
Okay.
because I think the story where they're at is like the bloodline within the bloodline. Jacob Fatu versus Solo, like that's where they're headed to right now. Like there is a chance that we get some sort of interaction between the two groups. I would probably bet money that there is an interaction, but will it result in a story or something else playing out on TV between them three? I don't think so. But I might be wrong, and you might be onto something. We'll just have to wait and see. It would be interesting. But like Bronson Reed versus Jeff Cobb, if we get that face off at Money in the Bank, that would be interesting. You know, like people would, like I mentioned that match before that they had, people might remember that and they might give a fuck. So that would be interesting. But I'm also not the biggest of fans of Jeff Cobb so far. I think he's been okay. He doesn't look anything too crazy. Like it just sucks because bro, Jacob Fatu is like Jacob Fatu. Like he's just better than everyone else. You know, like
Yeah.
everyone is like. Unfortunately, for the rest of the Samoans, for the time being, like you're just not Jacob Fatu or Roman Reigns. You're just
Yeah.
not. Like it's you're not. You're not either one of them two. They're levels above, quite literally levels above. And I just don't give a fuck. Like Jacob, just give me Jacob, bro. I don't need to see Solo. Nah, I can see Solo sometimes, but I don't need to see Jeff Cobb. I don't need to see Tom Tonga, Tonga. I don't need to see none of that. Just give me 30 minutes of a Jacob Fatu match, and I'm good. Um, but no, yeah, I think you might be onto something. Uh, in terms of something I do want to see from this Money in the Bank match, though, is someone just go through the table from the top of the ladder onto the outside of the ring. Just let's go crazy. Let's just do something insanely dangerous. Um, but we'll see who that sixth man is also going to be. I wanted to ask you, speaking of predictions, so following Seth Rollins' qualifier match when he beat Finn Balor and Sami Zayn, after the match was over, CM Punk's music hits. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker were heading to the top of the ramp to meet CM Punk, but CM Punk, of course, outsmarted them because he wasn't coming up the ramp. He had came through the crowd and attacked Seth Rollins from behind, hit him with a GTS, and then ran out before Bronson and Braun Breaker could catch him. And so leaving that on Monday Night Raw, there's a six qualifying match that has yet to be announced. And I would you believe, do you think there's a chance that CM Punk might enter the Money in the Bank match? And maybe what if he gets the briefcase? Is that something that you think is a possibility? At if at all, do you see that happening?
um, seeing as we do still have that empty match slot, there's a chance that it could happen. There's a chance that he'll probably be in there. I feel like Punk has always been someone that's kind of fun to see with something like the briefcase. So I wouldn't be mad at it if he won it.
Not
Shit.
at all.
Um, I don't know. Like yeah, I could definitely see that being a thing. And like you said, it just progresses the Seth, CM Punk storyline even more. But yeah, I could definitely see that become a reality. When will it happen? I mean, it would have to happen soon because it's fucking Money in the Bank's like next week. So yeah, I could see that definitely being like one of those last minute, let's throw him in there. But he definitely needs to have a match. This can't be, and it was the problem we had with John Cena with Elimination Chamber. I don't care how big of a superstar you are. I don't care how much pull you think you have. If other people are qualifying for a match, you should qualify as well. And if
No, he would qualify.
and even if like let's say we already know that he's gonna win, he's gonna be that sixth man. The match still needs to happen. Like
Mhm.
we can't be letting superstars come in and claim spots and shit that everybody else is working for. Like that doesn't fly with me. So I really do hope that this upcoming week we get a match. If he is gonna go for a Money in the Bank thing, if he's not kind of just setting something up post Money in the Bank, if he's gonna go for that Money in the Bank briefcase, then yeah, I would love to see him in a match this week, and let's see who else they put him up against, because obviously if he's gonna be the sixth man, then the other two people are gonna lose. Let's give him some talent that he can really work with. Put on a solid match with CM Punk.
Yeah, no, I think he would definitely qualify on Monday if this. So Jacob Fatu, Andrade, and Carmelo is happening on SmackDown. The next qualifier is gonna have to be on Monday. Adam Pearce is gonna get on an Instagram video on Sunday and say, "Hey, it's official. CM Punk is facing Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker for the final spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Oh, that'd be
Watch, like that's what's
crazy.
gonna happen." It might not be those three all together, but it might be a combination. But CM Punk, I think, I do believe he's going to have a qualifying match, and I think that motherfucker might be in that match, because it just makes sense for the Seth Rollins versus CM Punk thing. And I might be wrong though. I might be wrong, but I would be interested. I would be intrigued, and I would tune in. I would tune in. And going across the hall, want to talk about the women's Money in the Bank match as well. Is we've already got four qualifiers already announced. The first one being Alexa Bliss, as she qualified after she beat Chelsea Green and Michin. Roxanne Perez has also qualified after beating Natalia and Becky Lynch. Rhea Ripley has also qualified after beating Kyrie Sane and Zoe Stark, as well as Julia after beating Zelina Vega and Charlotte Flair. Again, Zelina Vega taking another L. Um, but now we have this upcoming Friday night. We have Naomi versus Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax, which is an interesting trio of women. Want to start off by asking, with these three, who do you want to see move forward into the Money in the Bank match?
Honestly, we've been hot on her for the past couple of weeks ever since she, committed to the heel turn. I would love to see Naomi win this. I think that she could provide, adequate entertainment, being a total menace with the fucking Money in the Bank briefcase. Pretending to cash in here and there. Kind of, I guess, speaking some kind of like shit towards other people and kind of striking some fear in them, thinking that she's gonna cash on them. Um, so I think that Naomi is in the best position to win this and do something special with it. I think Jade Cargill is another one that I wouldn't be, completely mad at her winning it, but I do think that Naomi benefits the most out of these three ladies. Nia Jax, I think Nia's cool right now. She doesn't really need to be in the title contention. You can throw her in a couple of feuds here and there with other people, and it'll still provide the same amount of entertainment from her. So I don't really think that she has like a foot in winning this match per se. But yeah, I think all my eggs are gonna be put in the Naomi basket. I think she has big stuff coming this year.
Yeah, no, I think Naomi would be an excellent qualifier here, and I think she would carry the briefcase itself very well. And it would be interesting to see her carry that around and maybe cash it in on Tiffany Stratton. I think it would do her wonders. I think people started finally to care after she did turn heel, and clearly she's over. Jade is the safe bet in this match, but I don't think this sort of match bodes well for her. And so I think Naomi would be the better fit. Nia Jax doesn't need the briefcase. Briefcase. She has nepotism. Like she can get a championship, a championship fucking opportunity whenever she wants. She can just call her cousin and he'll make it happen. Um, but I think Naomi would be the most interesting, and I hope to see her win here. In terms of the other women, how are you feeling about Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia? Rhea Ripley being in this match is very, very interesting. I would like to see, maybe she wins it. Maybe they have her win it. I don't think so. I don't think so. But of these four women, Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, who would have your vote of confidence here in terms of who you see walking out if it had to be one of these four with that briefcase?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. I've said this, in the past couple of weeks. I don't think Rhea necessarily needs to be in a title contention to make her relevant. I think she is at the same status as a Roman Reigns. You can throw her to do some other shit. She doesn't really need to be, in or around that title contention. So I'm automatically eliminating her. Roxanne Perez is someone that I'm big on. I think that she's going to do big things in this business. I don't know if this is the point in time that you put the Money in the Bank briefcase on her. I feel like you kind of need to get that main roster crowd a little bit more accustomed to seeing her. So maybe like a next year thing for Roxanne would make more sense. But this year, I just don't see it happening. Alexa Bliss is someone that I strongly think that has a chance at winning this, but also she has been rumored to be, possibly going back and being strung in somehow with the Wyatt Six. I don't know if those are still the plans, but we'll just have to wait to see on that end. If not, I do think that she is someone that has a strong case for herself. for winning this briefcase. But my pick ultimately would be Julia. I feel like Julia is someone that sadly kind of got overshadowed in NXT as soon as as Stephanie Becker came in, and in the main roster, she hasn't really cemented herself as someone that people are looking forward to seeing. And I think that having her beat someone like a Charlotte Flair, like a Zelina Vega for her qualifying match was a big push in the right direction for her. So I really think that Julia has one of the strongest chances. If Naomi doesn't qualify, Julia has one of the stronger chances of walking away with that briefcase at the end of the night. And I'm excited to see what they do with her because now you have that opportunity to make a star. You have, this briefcase, this golden ticket to a championship title opportunity. Now, present her to us the way that you want us to see her. Get us hyped. Make us want to see her week after week. I think that putting her in this match, having her qualify, has been great, and I expect a lot of big things from Julia this year. And if that starts with her winning the Money in the Bank, I'm all for it.
It would be interesting to see Julia win it. I think she probably her and Roxanne would make the most sense to me. I would argue maybe Roxanne would be a little bit more interesting. Maybe I'm just a fan, but Julia, of course, makes sense. And you mentioned earlier in the night there are a few call ups, a few roster spots, that or a few roster upgrades that we're getting very very soon. If you pay attention to NXT, you one of your favorite wrestlers, Stephanie Vaquer, just lost the NXT Women's Championship. How would you feel if she showed up this upcoming Monday, or Adam Pierce got on a motherfucking Instagram video on Sunday night and makes it official? He says our newest fucking
Acquisition.
yes, thank you, fucking Christ. Our newest acquisition is in Stephanie Vaquer is going to be in a qualifying match this upcoming Monday for the Money in the Bank. She wins it and she goes on to compete. Is that something you would like to see? And do you think there's a chance of that happening at all?
I mean, I think that there's a strong chance of that happening. I don't know if they're trying to call her up necessarily for Money in the Bank, or I had even told you this earlier for like the Evolution pay per view that they announced that they're bringing back. We'll just have to wait and see what the timeline presents itself with. But if she gets called up, if she gets this qualifying match and she makes it into the Money in the Bank this year, that's a big problem for everybody else because she really does have that crowd behind her, and the fans really would probably be upset if she lost that match. There's a lot of great people in here, a lot of people that they'll get behind. But if you throw someone like a Stephanie Vakarian right now with the heat that she has, with that crowd heat that she has, brother, I think that's a problem for everybody else. So I would love to see her in it. Would she win it? I feel like that'd be a little bit of a rush thing. I guess I don't really have a foot to stand in saying that because I do want someone like a Julia to win, and I feel like she hasn't been on there for too long. But like I said, I do feel like Julia kind of got a little bit overshadowed. She is an amazing talent and someone that was really killing it in Japan before she came over here. But that stardom that a Stephanie Vaquer carries just kind of like pushed her off to the side. And I feel like she was finally trying to get some footing on the main roster, and now with the rumors of Stephanie coming, that kind of presents itself to be a little bit tricky for her. I hope not. I really do hope that Julia gets her chance to shine. But hey, if La Primera comes to Money in the Bank, shit, I might be changing my fucking pick for who's winning.
Yeah, if she walks into that ladder match, she's probably gonna walk out with that briefcase.
Because that losing
But then
that belt
again,
made no sense to me. So you gotta give her something.
yeah, her losing was kind of crazy. Um, yeah, no, I think if she joins it, we're gonna get the little Rhea Ripley and Stephanie face off that the fans are gonna go crazy for. Um, I would like to see her win it if she joins, but I'm cool if she doesn't join. She's probably gonna be involved in the Worlds Collide pay per view. I completely forgot about that as well
Mm-hmm.
earlier in that night, earlier in that day. So she might be involved there. So they might be doing something special for her there. So maybe it's not her time just yet. Maybe she's getting called up for that Evolution pay per view, like she mentioned, like you mentioned. But it would be interesting. So we have that last qualifying match there as well. But as it stands, we have those four women, and we will find out between Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Nia Jax. So interesting. Money in the Bank will be taking place not this Saturday, but the following on June 7th, as well as Worlds Collide. So we're going to be looking forward to that as well. But no, it's been an interesting week. They're starting to build up these qualifying matches as we're starting to see, and it's all getting set into stone. We'll see who these last two spots are filled with for both the women's and the men's Money in the Bank matches on these last few episodes of Monday and Friday Night SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. And lastly, just wanted to ask, is there anything else that you're looking forward to before we get to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view and Worlds Collide next weekend?
I would like to see, because we do have Worlds Collide, and I'm not saying that we're neglecting that that's a pay per view that's happening before Money in the Bank, but we are kind of putting a little more emphasis on Money in the Bank. I would like to see a little
Of
bit more
course.
build up for the Worlds Collide this week. We have
Hmm.
someone as big as a Chad Gable fighting for Triple A's main title belt. So like, why haven't we been advertising or at least hyping that up a little bit more? We have some pretty big matches. They have been doing a good job in NXT though, to promote the match between Lola Vice, Stephanie Vicker, and the two ladies from AAA. But I haven't seen much of promotion or even hype up for the main roster for the people that are competing there. So I would love to see them just build a little bit more for this Worlds Collide, because it is a big pay per view. There's a lot riding on this pay per view. A lot of people are actually really hyped for this, and to be honest, just in general for Worlds Collide, I really hope that the Mexican crowd comes through. They are probably one of the best crowds besides some of the European crowds that I've seen at these shows. So I really do hope that the Mexican crowd comes out to LA for that show, and we get this crazy interaction between the North American and South American crowds. But yeah, other than that, no, I'm just excited. We got Worlds Collide, brother. I'm so fucking hyped for that shit. And then for Money in the Bank, I'm really hyped to see if anyone cashes in that night. We there's some years where we get same night cash-ins. I was lucky enough to be here in Vegas and attend Money in the Bank when John Moxley cashed in the same night he won. Those kind of moments are hype, so I'm looking forward to see if anyone else this year does something like that. But yeah, are you excited for Worlds Collide? Do you think that someone will cash in to Money in the Bank that same night if they win the briefcase?
Yeah, Worlds Collide is going to be a fun pay per view. I think the only build up and story we got from this week on Monday Night Raw was when you mentioned Chad Gable's opponent El Hijo de Vikingo interfered in the triple threat, kicked Chad Gable in the nose, ultimately causing him the loss. So I think that was probably the only somewhat promotion that we got for this pay per view so far on the main roster, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm excited for it. It should be fun. It should be interesting. I know Chad Gable was going to go out there and give us a hell of a main event, and so I'm looking forward to it. And I know you're excited about it as well. And then in terms of Money in the Bank, someone cashing in, the only person I could see cashing in same night would be Seth Rollins if he wins it. If Seth Rollins walks out with that briefcase and he returns later on in that night during that fucking tag match when both of the titles will be involved. John Cena has the WWE Championship. Jey Uso has the World Heavyweight Championship. I think Seth Rollins would take advantage of that situation, especially if he has Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker to back him up. Um, and it would be a cakewalk for him to take either championship. But of course, he's most likely going to take the one away from Jey Uso. But that's the only way I see a same night cash in. That's the only way. Is there anyone else who you would want to see a same night cash in with?
Oh no, I think I'm on the same page. I think you presented something I didn't even think of. That both champions are going to be in the same ring, and then Seth Rollins gets to get that choice. Do I think that he picks Jey Uso? Yeah, I think that's like the safer bet. I don't think you get the belt off of John Cena that way. But that is an interesting situation that you presented. I'm excited. I'm hyped for that now. So hopefully, I would imagine that Seth Rollins would be the one for the ladies. Shit, if Julia wants to cash in that night, I don't know how the fuck we would work it in, but if she wins, or anyone on that on the girl side, if they can figure a way to make it work, shit, I wouldn't mind either. I know that I read today Triple H isn't a huge fan of the briefcase anymore. He doesn't really, He thinks that the whole contract thing is outdated. So maybe this might be the last time we get to see something like a traditional Money in the Bank. Maybe we go into new horizons, new things past this Money in the Bank, and that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's the same motherfucker that made John Cena turn heel. I don't know. I'm just not feeling the decision making over the course of the last couple months has been a little iffy to me. So I don't know. Money in the Bank has been a staple. I did enjoy Money in the Bank more when it wasn't its standalone pay per view, but when it was at WrestleMania, because that's where they used to hold those matches, and I thought that was probably if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm not tripping. But I feel like I remember watching these Money in the Bank matches at WrestleMania. Um, and I missed that. I miss when it used to be that match in that moment at that pay-per-view versus it being a standalone pay-per-view. But is it outdated? Maybe a little bit so, but like, it in no way am I comparing it to the Royal Rumble, but look how many years we've had the Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber. Like, these are just traditions. I don't know if this is one of the traditions that you go away with. Would you want to see it go away? Is that something that you fall on that side of the field on?
Um, I don't know. I think I'm a little conflicted because I am someone that likes some of these bigger traditions, like a Royal Rumble, like an Elimination Chamber, and a Money in the Bank. But if he wants to modify it in some way, if he wants it so that maybe the briefcase ain't a thing anymore, maybe it's just a big match for a chance at the belt, I feel like that would be fine too. But you would just have to do it right. I feel like if you're gonna get rid of a tradition as big as a Money in the Bank, as a Royal Rumble, or an Elimination Chamber, you would have to do it right. Even if you're altering it, you have to be careful with what you do because it can backfire on you extremely easy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do anything, then just get rid of it. I don't know if they make any adjustments to it. Like, I don't know. But this is a match that I enjoy. Typically, I think it's fun for the fans, and it allows a superstar and a level of curiosity, and suspense throughout, as long as a superstar holds that briefcase. At any point they could cash in. So I enjoy it. I think I personally don't feel like they should get rid of it, but I'm not Triple H. I'm not TKO. I have no say in this. But I would be upset if they got rid of it. I would. Would that be the final straw? I don't know. If they do it the same year that John Cena turned heel, it might be. It just might be. But we have a lot to look forward to next week with Money in the Bank, with the rest of the qualifiers, with Worlds Collide. And we will be watching, we will be reviewing, and we will be talking about it. But in terms of all that we've discussed today, that will conclude this week's episode of the Word Around the Ring podcast. Thank you all for listening. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us across all of our social media platforms, including Instagram, and TikTok at the Word Around the Ring podcast. We will see you all very soon. I hope you have a good night. Thank you for listening.